Okay, I'm here today with Corey Weir. He's Associate Athletic Trainer at Associate High School. So Corey, I'm just going to ask you a couple questions, and is it okay if you answer it?
That'd be fine.
Alright, so why did you choose this profession?
I really wanted to work with sports. I didn't really know in what capacity, but that's how I would come across this profession.
Okay. How long have you been working in this field?
This will be my 6th year as a professional.
What advice would you give someone pursuing this profession?
You really got to look inside of you and see if you really love being around sports, around practice, going to games, helping others. It's a degree in service, really, and you don't really find that out until you start studying it and you kind of get out on your own.
Is that when you found out, like, whenever you started studying?
Yeah, really doing my clinicals and realizing all of the hours that you had to put into it, going to practices and preparing for practice and staying for practice and then doing work after practice. There was just a lot going into it, and you have to love it or you will not enjoy it.
Okay, so what would you say a typical day for you is?
Typical day, which I'm, at a high school, we have practice right off the bat in the morning, so just come up and hang out for you and evaluate any injuries that arise, and then I teach class through the middle of the day, and then we have sports picks up again in the afternoons, and I may not go home, just depending on if we have a game until 8, 9 o'clock. So we'll have practices and then games starting in the evening.
Okay. What would you say some of your responsibilities are as like the athletic trainer here?
The main thing is to provide organization for documentation of athletic physicals, injury updates or notes, and then as students come in, I evaluate their injuries, try to help get them on the right path, to 100%. Again, that may be treating an injury or preventing an injury, working with the coaching staffs on how to prevent injuries, and just being available if there's an emergency.
Sure. So do you find your job exciting or boring, and why?
I find it exciting myself. Most of the time it gets monotonous, just like any position. But when you get into the thick of things, into the end of the seasons, and you see your athletes competing at a high level, it's rewarding. And so those times are exciting. But sometimes there's lulls.
Okay, so is it hard dealing with like the constant changes in your field with like medical treatments?
No, they don't evolve quite that rapidly. I could see in 10 years, 15 years it being difficult if new practices come out. I mean, I'm having to change, how I first learned how to do something to change it if that were to change. But right now it's not very challenging.
What would you say like the worst injury you've had to treat was?
It's kind of putting me on the spot. I can't ever, I'm terrible at remembering war stories, but I've had a couple of closed compound fractures that look pretty bad. No open wounds or anything yet, open fractures or anything that interesting yet, but it was difficult enough where everybody was turning their head. I had to pay attention and make sure I did everything I needed to do.
Gotcha. Okay, well, that's all I have for you. Thank you.
Appreciate it, man.